Sydney have all failed to produce a win. If they are genuine contenders, they surely must prove it against the Premiers tonight, especially with Sydney having re-established their 11-point lead at the top here last night. It is, of course, Australia Day weekend. The players making their way through the Guard of Honour. Those new Australian citizens who've just taken the oath. And they line up on what is a glorious Melbourne evening. Pitch in great condition. And temperatures just about perfect. So a little bit warm earlier on today. There's those new citizens. I'm sure they're going to enjoy a really good game of football tonight. Let's take a check on the two-team lineups. Two changes for City. Nathaniel Atkinson and Lachlan Wales are both benched as Eric Mombert hands a starting debut to Markel Susayeta, the Spaniard, and a first appearance in City colours for the latest new arrival from Celtic, Jack Hendry, who has joined on loan until the end of the season. Scott Galloway is back on the bench. His ankle injury not as serious as first thoughts. Looking forward to seeing Susayeta in from the off. As for Perth Glory, they're unchanged, which means Jake Brimmer continues in midfield alongside Neil Kilkenny, with Hyundai still out for another week at least with that groin problem. Kim Subom retains his spot at right wing-back with Ivan Franic on the bench. The unsung hero for Glory up front at the moment, though, is Joel Chianese. He has 3 goals in his last 4 games, and he likes this venue as well. He's scored here on 5 previous occasions. Chris Economides remains absent even from the bench with injury. Jamie McLaren saw Adam Lafondra reclaim the outright lead in the Golden Boot race here last night with his 14th of the season. McLaren has 13 and 6 in 7 against Glory, one of his former clubs, of course. Great stats, though, aren't they? 11 games, 13 goals. And back on familiar turf is Bruno Forteroli, who scored here on his first return to Amy Park against City, for whom he remains the all-time leading goal scorer with 48 goals in 70 matches in City Blue. There's his numbers for this season. They're pretty impressive too, after a little bit of a slow start, which of course is perfectly understandable given that he hadn't played football for the best part of a year, and his combination with Diego Castro is something well worth watching. There's the state of affairs at the top of the A-League ladder. Sydney well clear, but the battle for second well and truly on, and this could be an absolute cracker. How will Jack Hendry find Australian football? Could have a big task on his hands tonight, keeping the likes of Forteroli quiet. They're in such good form, Perth. And City are 3 unbeaten as well. Back-to-back home wins as Jamie McLaren gets the ball rolling, but City haven't beaten Perth here at Amy Park since the 15-16 elimination final, when, strangely enough, Robbie Cornthwaite, Bruno Forteroli scored both goals in a 2-0 win. Of course, he's wearing Glory colours this evening.
Yeah, long time between drinks for Melbourne City here at Amy Park. Perth have had the rub of the green over them, and Tony Popovic has had the rub of the green over them as well. Fantastic record with the Wanderers against Melbourne City too.
There is Tony Popovic. That's a record. Shows he's lost just 3 of 19 games against Melbourne City during his coaching career, and already he's busy with the notebook and pen.
What do you reckon he's writing down after 45 seconds?
I have no idea. I was hoping you were going to tell me. But clearly he's spotted something. There's his opposite number, Eric Mombert, now officially the oldest coach in the A-League after the departure of Ernie Merrick. He says his team needs to find mental strength in these big matches, and that has been the worry for City, hasn't it? You feel as though they're about to get real lift-off, and then they play in these big games and they fall a little short. Let's see how they go tonight. Curtis Good, that was an awkward one to measure, but he did well. In good form, he and Harrison Delbridge in the heart of that City defence. This is Brimmer. A little spin from Chianese, but can't link up with Diego Castro. And City should be able to sort things out. And Scott Jamieson, who's on the ball here, interesting comments pre-game saying we've got to live with Perth in the first 15-20, their intensity. Do you think that's fair?
To a degree, yes. I'd expect City to be the one actually to come out of the blocks the quicker.
We've got a chance here. Florent Berenguer on target, but nothing really to trouble Liam Reddy. Yet to score for City.
A little bit like what we saw last night. I expect maybe the home side here to get at Perth Glory. It's a good opening to start things. There's a good strike away, comfortable in the end for Liam Reddy. I think Perth are probably the ones that want to weather the first 15 or so minutes and then play themselves into the match.
There's Harrison Delbridge. And a touch for the new boy, Jack Hendry. Who remains Dundee's record sale when he moved across Scotland to Celtic, but has found himself frozen out a little bit upon the return of Neil Lennon.
Not sure whether it's the colours he's wearing, but he's got a bit of John Stones look about him, hasn't he?
Yeah, physically, very much so. Let's see if he plays like him. That's a good pick-up, that, Robbie. But I know you watch the central defenders more closely than probably any of the others. Here's Craig Noon on the right. He's scored in back-to-back A-League games. Firing one into the box. Saw Kim Soo-Boon couldn't clear. What a chance for McLaren, but one he couldn't take.
Well, that's a really, really good way to break down this Perth Glory defence. As those forward runs, Susaeta is the one who made the run at the back stick. Kim had to clear the ball away, and he didn't get a good piece of it. Fell to McLaren, and you expect him to score from that range.
Here is the South Korean. Got away with that early scare. Ball just seemed to get wedged underneath him a little bit, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about forward runs, quite often people think from the halfway line, but it's in those high positions as well that really push defences back, get the central defenders second-guessing.
It was a mistake by Melbourne City, and they still might be made to pay for it. Castro, lovely little drag back, aiming for Fornaroli at the back post. And Curtis Good forced to intervene at the expense of a corner.
You don't want to be turning the ball over in those sort of positions. That's when Fornaroli looks to peel off the shoulder into space. You know Castro's quality, ability to find him. He's got plenty of assists. I think he leads in assists already this season. Those two already great understanding. I saw a video of them midweek having a good laugh. Obviously very, very good friends.
Diego Castro, 3 goals and 5 assists in his last 4 matches. Here's Kilkenny with a glory corner. Delbridge, big and strong. Interesting that we just spotted this, actually no corner flag in this right-hand corner, where Kilkenny just delivered his corner. It was way out in the apron of the pitch, and they're just attending to that now. There we go. Corner flag is just being put in its correct position out of picture. Somebody's going to be in trouble, Robbie. Somebody forgot to do their job.
Maybe they had a temporary greenskeeper from the golf here, and he's moved the pin.
Well, Archie Thompson has a long relationship with corner flags. There it is in its correct position. We'll go to Archie in just a moment, because we'll watch and see how this develops for Perth, but that's beyond Chianese. Easily claimed by Dean Bazanis. You and corner flags, Archie, discuss.
Yes, got a little confession. I just took it down the race for a little second and just reacquainted myself with it. But yeah, it's really bizarre actually to see no corner flag. But what I will say quickly is what we talked about with Kenny. You can hear Kenny in the middle, Kilkenny. The way that he marshals that midfield, you can hear him screaming out. And he's a well-oiled machine, the Kilkenny in that midfield.
Good stuff, Archie. Thank you. Here is Kilkenny. With one day out injured at the moment, having to take a lot more of a leadership role, and he's pinged that one out towards James Meredith on the left. Harrison Delbridge to track him, touched by Castro. Fended off by Josh Brillante, but still City can't get out, and it's back with El Bistro. Delbridge stuck like glue to him. Little and large, those two. Size was the victor in that particular skirmish. Chested down by Fornaroli. Again, Delbridge for the intervention. Jamison. Got away from Luna. Shouldn't have done, really. Down goes Fornaroli, but Daniel Elder instructs the Uruguayan to get back to his feet. There'll be no whistle. And here's Markel Susaeta on starting debut for Melbourne City. Luna is going to get away from the Spaniard, though. But he looked useful off the bench. He only played a few minutes, Susaeta, on his debut against the Newcastle Jets, but he put in one delightful cross for Jamie McLaren, from which he really should have scored.
Yeah, that ball was probably the one highlight we really got to see from him in his brief cameo.
Stats look good, though.
Not too bad. I think anyone would be pretty happy with those stats. That many games playing in Spain in that division. It's definitely got some ability.
Well, up and under, but Alex Grant had its measure for Perth Glory, one of the standouts in that defensive line. Has conceded just 2 goals in their 6-match winning streak. Remarkable stats. Berenguer held up by Kilkenny. Craig Noon to swing on him, but it should be Reddy's. It is.
When you think about the fact that they lost Spiranovic, they lost Lowry and Davidson, it's quite an incredible thing to be able to consistently keep clean sheets like that. We've got a lot of new players in that back line, and it just shows that the work that the Perth Glory staff have put into getting them organised.
Tony Popovic is very, very unhappy. That wasn't blown for a foul on Chianese. Meantime, here's Susaeta, and he's flagged offside. And Tony Popovic, I'm sure, will be keen to continue that conversation, particularly with Alex King, the 4th official. It's rare you see Tony Popovic blow up like this, but he was right out of his seat. What's your view on that, Robbie?
Yeah, I think Popper was basically saying that Chianese had the front position and the tackle may have been from behind. He did get a big piece of the ball, though. Maybe the referee, that's what the referee saw.
He's normally quite a cool customer, isn't he, Popper, on the sideline? Alex King bearing the full brunt of it. Poor old 4th officials. They must end up every match with an earache.
It's a light double time. You get a bit extra when you're 4th official.
Yeah. You cop it from both sides, don't you? Or can do. Brimmer. Enjoying a bit of a spell in the team. Oh, that was a bit late by Berenguer on Kilkenny, and Popovic is out of his seat again. It was a ball that, in fairness, Florent Berenguer had to go for, but it's a little bit,
well, I think it was more the follow-through from Kilkenny. Yeah. I'm not sure Berenguer went in with any malice. I think Tony Popovic was more upset with Jake Brimmer's pass.
Still made Neil Kilkenny wince a bit, former Socceroo. Had such a terrific season last year. And he's following on from where he left off. Oh, look at that from Castro. Meredith. It's going to be another corner for Perth, but just the awareness and the touch of the little Spaniard. Beautiful to watch.
Yeah, we've been blessed to have him in the A-League for so long. Just consistently producing little moments of quality. It was a good free kick, actually. Meredith made a good little run to give the option. Got him behind Noon, and good covering. It was Jamison coming across.
Long may he continue in the A-League. Vutrick and Grant and Virtula all up from the back for the set piece, but it's Scott Jamison who steers it away for City. And, appeared to get stuck between the body of Luna and the arm of Castro. And the latter is penalised. He's saying he got a little nudge. Clearly touched the arm. Glory do have a really good record against City in this fixture. City haven't won any of the last 5 meetings, just one of the last 11. And there's that aforementioned elimination final back in 15-16. Jack Hendry. Good. And towards Berenguer, good touch, building nicely, McLaren, Adrian Luna. And Liam Redding made a fine save. It might just have crept over the crossbar anyway, but Redding wasn't to know that.
Yeah, wonderful move from Melbourne City. Ball in from Curtis Good. Little knockdown to Jamie McLaren, picks out Luna, and it's a lovely strike straight at Reddy, luckily for Glory. Good first touch from Jamie McLaren, puts it out in front of Luna, and that's a wonderful save.
Actually, I reckon that's dipping underneath the crossbar, isn't it? So he had to make that save. Corner work short, Susayeta towards that near post area, and it came off Alex Grant. It's going to be another corner for City.
Luna's got himself in a couple of good positions early on in the middle of the park. One, he miscontrolled. Another, he could have turned and gone forward, but he decided to go back. But on that occasion, he involved himself in the attack at the perfect time.
I think he's really grown in the last few weeks. 4 goals and a couple of assists in his last 10 matches. Strangely enough, earlier on, it looked as though Javier Cabrera was the better of the 2 Uruguayans, but he's gone. Luna starting to make his mark. Good leap by Hendry to keep this alive for City. Delbridge still plenty forward in this attack. Delbridge's looping ball in came off Kim Soo-bom and then Kilkenny. And slightly wayward off the left boot of Jamison.
Good little spell of pressure from City. So Perth Glory defended the aerial threat quite well, as you'd expect. Get a lot of numbers in and around that central area in front of the 6-yard box between the posts. Tony Popovic is big on that.
Look at the pressure being applied here by Susayeta. Full of energy and intense. And then there's a bit of a tangle between Good and Fornaroli, but nothing doing, according to Daniel Elder. Fornaroli has a little look around at Curtis Good and maybe mutters under his breath. Grant to put a size 10 through it. Nice touch from Delbridge. Susayeta opting against using Jamison. Back to the goalkeeper. Glory trying to press, and they've stolen the ball through Fornaroli. Here's Castro, only Chianese in the box. Still Castro. Twisting this way and that to try and get rid of Jack Hendry, who stood his ground. Brimmer fires it across for Kim Soo-bom. Here's Joel Chianese. Crowded out in the end was Chianese. Drop here for Brimmer, though. Castro beaten in the air by Hendry. City struggling to clear their lines here. Fornaroli, too strong for Susayeta, who got the final touch. It was Brillante. It's going to be a corner for Glory.
Game just settling in nicely now. Melbourne City had a good spell of possession. Perth Glory happy to sit in behind the ball, but when the time was right, Chianese went and pressed on Good. And it was like they flicked the switch. Everyone else was up forward. Castro was pressing too. Won the ball in a high position. Now they've got themselves a corner. Really in tune with one another.
Scott Jamison said they had to survive the first 15 minutes. City, they've done that. Let's see if it is just that. Corner flag's in place this time. And Kilkenny about to deliver once more. Again, Grant, Vutric, Merchula looking to attack it. Delbridge underneath it. Turned out wide by Brimmer. Kilkenny checks onto the left boot. Castro. Kilkenny to clip it in. Merchula got a touch. Alex Grant. Florent Berenguer too strong for him. And City will look to spring the counter, but good intervention that by Brimmer. Just what you want from your defensive midfielder.
And he was really strong after that to keep the ball as well.
James Meredith couldn't quite create the angle. Brimmer tried to be a bit too clever. The booming voice you heard was from Dean Bazanis. Almost 5.5 hours now since Perth Glory conceded an A-League goal. That was in their 6-2 win over the Newcastle Jets. The City have gone close once or twice in the early stages here. That half volley from Berenguer, McLaren chance. Liam Reddy save from Adrian Luna. Here comes City again through Jamison, their captain. Luna. Susayeta. Luna gets the better of Kim Soo-bom, and Jamison back onto the right foot, which unfortunately for Scott Jamison is normally used just for standing on.
Wasn't the best of strikes, let's just say that. He did well to create the space. Kim wasn't strong enough in the tackle, lost his feet. You see here, looks for the intercept. Luna just lays into Jamison. Nice piece of skill. I think he's got every right to take that strike on. Just not the result he was hoping for.
It's over 5 years since Scott Jamison scored the second of his 2 A-League goals.
Can't remember what game it was in. He scored an absolute cracker, but the whistle had always gone.
That was against Wellington, I think, wasn't it? Seem to remember. It's good defending from the front from Susayeta. Looks in the mood, doesn't he? And nice and fresh and sprightly. Been training with the team for the best part of a fortnight now. By contrast, Jack Hendry, who's on the ball here.
That's a foul there.
Yeah, it looked like a foul, didn't it? Tony Popovic blowing up again on the touchline. And Jack Hendry's only had a couple of training sessions. Jamison threads it through. Luna. Good stretch by Vutric. And seen out by Chianese. Creating those openings nicely, City. Brillante to float it towards the far post. Knockdown was searching for Jamison. Perth struggling to clear their lines. Luna with a little back heel. Jamison's cross. And again, Jake Brimmer was cool when he had to be. Oh, and Kilkenny's been collected there by Luna. Now the whistle does go. And Tony Popovic wants action to be taken. Daniel Elder is going to have a little conversation here with Luna.
Kilkenny on the end of a couple already. Studs was slightly showing.
The message from Luna is clear to get up, but it's just, again, it's just that follow-through, isn't it?
He's a tough player, Kilkenny. I don't think he'll be too bothered by it. Real leader of this Perth Glory side. Heard Tony Popovic say in the pre-game he's a real self-motivator. He's got high expectations and high standards of everyone around him.
And of course, this game against City, his former employers, probably means just that little bit more, because the circumstances in which he left this club were probably not perhaps the best.
Very similar to Bruno Fornaroli.
Yep. The year after he won the club's Player of the Year award as well. Really frozen out under Warren Joyce. Slipped by Vutric, could have opened the door here for McLaren. Brillante turned into trouble in the shape of Castro. And the jab forward by Brimmer only found a City blue jersey. Susayeta on the ball. Poked out wide for Jamison and then back through Luna. Good win in the air by Meredith. Let's go back down to Archie Thompson. Your impressions of the game so far, Archie?
Yeah, very good. Perth has set up really well, not letting City face forward when they get the ball into the midfield, which is great. And then City look for the difficult ball out. But once they do get a turn in, they look very dangerous going forward. When I think of Fornaroli and maybe not getting that decision in the back, is he likes to play with his back to defence, but he always looks for the foul. So that's probably going to hamper him a little bit, because referees don't tend to give it because they know that he's looking for it. So some of those opportunities that are fouls, he mightn't get them as many.
You're saying he cries wolf maybe once too often, Archie?
Maybe, but look, I'm part of the Strikers Union, mate, so whatever foul you can get. But he's a very smart player, and that's what he does really well. And I've got to be impressed too. Well, we speak about Fornaroli, we speak about Castro, but Chianese has been outstanding the last few weeks. His smart runs he makes in between the lines.
I agree with that. Thanks, Archie. Maybe get your take on that, Robbie, in a moment, as a former defender in Fornaroli. Meantime, let's watch this with Luna. Volante square for Delbridge. Alex Grant had a little glance behind him just to check where Berenguer was. Here is Fornaroli. Again, a strong tussle with Hendry, who comes out on top. Looks strong, doesn't he? Clear instructions not to let him turn you. Roll by Susaeta into the path of Luna. Cross it goes for Noon. He didn't really get a hold of that one, the Englishman. It spoons up in the air towards Volante. Luna's coming back from an offside position. He's very John Stones-esque, isn't he, Jack Hendry? Looks very cool and composed on the ball.
Early impressions are good. I spoke to Scott Jamieson a couple of days ago. Said he's a defender who's not afraid to stick his head in, but he's also got a bit of class about him. He can knock the ball about, which is what you need as a modern-day centre-back. He's
got to chase James Meredith here, but Delbridge there too.
First and foremost, his job's to defend, though.
It should be Pasanis. Just on that Fornaroli thing, you have a view on that, Robbie?
Yeah, I think the instances when the ball has come forward, Bruno's very, very isolated, so he needs to try to retain the ball for his side, and he can see he's up against it. So if he does feel that contact in the back, he's gone down. I do think the one on the far side with Delbridge was a clear foul, and he should have got something out of that. The others, you know, they're okay with me.
Nice to go long, off the head of Murchula.
Just on Murchula, 6 weeks ago when he came back into the side when Perth Glory were really struggling down the bottom of the table, and since then they haven't lost a game, conceded 2 or 3. I think you said, Simon, he scored as well last outing here, so he's been a really, really good inclusion. Got experience in Europe and in South Korea. Type of defender that Tony Popovic likes.
Not only have they not lost any of those 6, they've won every single one of them. It's not to say it's all down to him, of course, but given those problems, that's foul on Vutric, which McLaren disagrees with. And given those early season problems that they had with the likes of replacing Lowry, Vutric just seems to lose his footing there. Sporanovic, Davidson. I think they've readjusted really well, haven't they, Perth?
Yeah, and they've got Osama Malik as well, who started the season. I think he's got a hamstring injury at the moment. Hopefully he's not too far away. But certainly adding depth, and you can see the results across the bottom. 6 wins, only conceded the 2 goals, as you say. And they're scoring multiple goals. I mean, last week they didn't, but I think it's something like 18 in the last 6 games. So they're really putting it together over this Christmas period.
When you consider the last time they came here, they were bottom of the A-League.
It's remarkable. It shows how quickly things can change, and it should be I suppose, a bit of encouragement for any of the sides that are struggling maybe a bit at the moment, that if you do turn things around, a couple wins on the bounce, things can change quickly.
Here's McLaren, who's got clear of Grant for the moment. Luna in the box. Susaeta arriving, but Brimmer there to steady things down for Perth. And now with Kim Soo Bom, and the Glory can look to spring forward themselves. Jake Brimmer. Loses out to Berenguer.
I think Kim just needs to be a little bit cleaner with his passing. He just looks a little bit off the pace at the moment. You can see a little bit of frustration from Tony Popovic as well. There's at times where he needs to play out and he goes long. I've seen Popper asking him to give the ball to Chianese on a number of occasions. He hasn't really settled in the A-League for me. Still got a lot of improvement in him.
It's just his 5th start today. And there's room here for Susayeta. Perhaps that's why they've gone too early. The Koreans have a history of success, of course, in the A-League. Remember Song Jin-hyung in the early days, part of the Jets team that's won the title 2008. And then Bjorn, who scored the winning penalty for Sydney FC in a grand final. Hyuk Soo was very good as well.
Scored some absolute rockets up there at Suncorp Stadium.
Surprised we don't bring more Koreans to the competition. A part of the world that you know well, of course, Robbie.
Well, it's an interesting topic, isn't it? Always about the Asian quota and whether or not we should have more Southeast Asians and Asians involved in our league. There's no doubt they've got the quality. It's about finding the right player for the right price and whether or not we have enough resources or look to that region enough. I'm not too sure, but I certainly think it's an area we can look to more.
Oh, Susayeta caught by the Korean. And Daniel Elder is going to issue a yellow card, and that will further irk Tony Popovic, no doubt, who feels his team have been on the end of one or two hefty challenges. That's the point he's making now to fourth official Alex King. Again, it's the momentum that clatters him into the Spaniard.
Yeah, it's that momentum, as you rightly say. It's probably the third occasion we've seen a player go in and they sort of half-heartedly pull out, and it's the momentum that takes them into the player. Obviously, whenever you go to ground and you're off your feet, you're sort of out of control a little bit, and yeah, the referee deems that one a yellow.
Bazanis having to hurry. Almost couldn't readjust the feet quickly enough then, Dean Bazanis. There was a moment of panic.
Well, it was he last time out that gave the ball away to Bruno Fornaroli and created a golden opportunity for them last time and almost got himself into some trouble again.
Tony Popovic, I can tell you, is continuing a running conversation with Alex King. This is the latest thing he's unhappy about, but I don't know why. It clearly comes off the arm of Jake Brimmer. This has been about a 25-minute conversation between the two, although at the moment it's just Alex King talking. Jamison. Going to lift it over the top of Wutrick, who backpedaled quickly enough. It's been a good acquisition, hasn't he?
Yeah, very good. It was a good decision there. He looked as though he wanted to press into the wide area onto Susayeta. And he just saw the run of Luna, I think it was, in behind, checked off, was able to drop back and intercept that long ball. Good decision-making.
Worked out by good for Jamison. Luna. Hendry. Well, that wasn't really John Stones-esque. Let's go down to Archie Thompson, who's keeping an ear across this conversation between the fourth official and Tony Popovic. Arch?
Yeah, I'm right smack bang in the middle of it, and obviously I think Popper, he just wants consistency with the fouls. I just heard Alex King mutter under his voice, this is the worst job in the world, fourth official, because you just cop a lot.
You sure do. I guess in many ways even more than the referee out in the middle, because you're a sitting duck really, or a standing target, one of the two. Here's Kim Soo-bom. It is good having a very good steady campaign as well, particularly for a player that has such an horrendous injury record. It's to City's credit, they've got him fit and playing, and not just playing, but playing really well.
Oh, there's no doubt he's got enough talent to go back overseas, but I just hope that he spends a bit of time here in the A-League, maybe another season or so.
Needs to
really get a couple of good seasons under his belt, get his body strong, consistent football. Who knows, maybe help City win some silverware, and then if the opportunity's there, maybe look to go back overseas then.
Certainly still young enough. 26. Fornaroli, the little touch. Castro trying to go through the heart of the City defence before Good says enough.
Almost beautiful link-up play from Perth Glory. Lovely little touch into the stride of Diego Castro. Hit the ball at pace. It's well tracked and well defended again from City. They've dealt with those situations very well so far.
Murchela. A little bit of room here for Meredith. And beyond him is Castro. Chianese, nobody tracked his run initially. Delbridge gets a foot in now. Top of the box is Meredith. Just had a little bit too much traffic to work through, but he does earn his team a corner. You can hear the Glory fans in the background. There are a few of them here. There they are. Enjoying this long winning run that their team is putting together, dreaming of perhaps another grand final occasion, maybe a more successful one. And it's Kilkenny again with the corner. And underneath it was Fornaroli, and he just couldn't find the direction.
That was his chance. He's not the one you expect to be getting on the end of this. You see Murchela attacking it. Ball almost falls onto Fornaroli's head, does the right thing, goes back across the keeper. Almost takes him a little bit by surprise. I'm not sure he expected it.
I wonder whether he was just ever so slightly put off by his own teammate there. But a good chance nonetheless.
We've seen almost all the attack from Melbourne City come down this left-hand side. Susayeta, Jamison and Luna combining. Very little from Craig Noonan and Berenguer so far.
Kim Soo-bom wearing that one from Luna. Jamison.
Perth Glory very good at cutting off the switch. You saw Jamison get his head up. Perth Glory able to close down all the opportunities and force City all the way back to the keeper.
Too high for Berenguer and too quick for Noon.
Jamison does turn back onto his right foot. That's the opportunity for them to press. They know he doesn't want to try to hit a 40-yard diagonal with his opposite foot. And they seize on that moment. They really press and make him go all the way back to the goalkeeper, and they can push up and close down the space.
Sliding challenge from Josh Brillante to prevent progress for James Meredith. Fornaroli did well to nip in ahead of the defenders there for City. Kim Soo-bom. Back through Brimmer, who spotted the run of Castro, but Bazanis out to claim safely for City.
Excellent goalkeeping. That's what you want as a defender. I think Delbridge probably had that ball comfortably, but it's where the header goes. Is it going to drop at the top of the box for Perth to pick up second ball? Dean Bazanis comes out and takes any doubt away.
After giving Jack Hendry the big John Stones rap in the early stages, he's now just belted two long balls right down the middle of the pitch, totally aimlessly.
Listen, we make a lot about defenders playing with their feet. First and foremost is how does he defend?
Yep.
It's no good being the best passer in the world and you can't mark it from a set piece or from open play. So, you know, he might give a ball or two away, but as long as he does his job defensively, I think he'll be happy.
You should write the job spec, Robbie. Susayeta. A bit earlier on in the A-League today, of course, Brisbane edged out a tight game against the Mariners by the only goal, which moves them into the top 6. We can round it out tomorrow with Western United and Adelaide, who were 5th and 6th at the start of the weekend. Adelaide knocked out of the final spots just for the time being.
Perth just starting to get a little bit of a hold on this game. The last probably 3 or 4 occasions City have had the ball, they've had to go long because they haven't been able to find an option.
Time to assess things here for Meredith. Looks to fire one in early. And it'll find its way through here for Kianese. Behind him is Kim Soo-bom, but Susayeta tracks back only as far as Jake Brimmer. It's an intelligent ball to pick out Meredith. Again, this time for the left wing back to sling it in. Luna was brave and got heavy contact from Brimmer. Free kick City.
It was a wicked ball in from that left-hand side.
Wasn't it just?
Brimmer just coming in a little bit late, no problems there. Probably a good foul, if I'm honest. Stop the attack of City. I know people don't like to hear that, but it does happen. Stop the play there and save yourself 60 yards of running.
Third foul in a row committed by the visitors from WA.
City going long again. A little bit surprising because we heard Bozza speak about it in the pre-game, how big this Perth Glory defence is, and that's exactly what they'll be wanting.
It's a useful ball by Good. Nice first touch by Noon as well. Shifts it onto his favoured left foot in towards Luna. Headed by Brillante. Reset through Susayeta. And creeping in was Noon at the far post, but ready off his line to grasp the ball for Glory. A little bit aimless from Gregory Vutric. Twice capped Swiss under-21 international. Delbridge. It's the return of Noon. Good for Jamison. Gap wasn't quite there, and Vutric to steal it. Castro. Little no-look ball for Vutric. Back through Kilkenny, and now Brimmer. Kim Soo-bom. Little pirouette to get rid of Susayeta. That was excellent from Kim Soo-bom. That's the return from Castro. Clips it in towards Kianese. Perth building beautifully here. All that was missing there was the finish from Castro. That would have been a glorious goal by the Glory.
What a fantastic move that was from Perth Glory. Looked like they had space to go quickly initially, and Castro just slowed things down. A lovely bit of piece of skill from Kim. We don't see the initial part. Lovely ball in. Kianese just drops it off. Lovely first touch. Sees the runner Castro. I've seen that a number of times. Castro coming from deep, moving onto the ball. Difficult to track. It's probably a little bit of a comfortable save in the end, but lovely football from the Glory.
Jamison. McLaren looking to link up with Luna, but difficult to control the header. Kilkenny. Kianese has Kim Soo-bom on the right. He's had to spin away from that possibility down the right-hand side. Kilkenny to go centrally. Fornaroli. Now it's Castro. Now they might be able to utilise the Korean, but a little bit slow in doing so. Brimmer, Kilkenny. Perth camped inside City's half at the moment. Lifted out towards Castro. Chested down by Kim Soo-bom. Came off Luna. And now Brillante for City.
Perth are being really patient in their attacks. I know one big thing Tony Popovich likes to do is have sustained spells of possession in the opposition half, force them back and make them defend.
Foul committed by Susayeta, and Brimmer's not particularly happy with that.
You mentioned it, Simon. Kim looked as though he was on early, and if you play the pass early and the attack breaks down, the attack from Melbourne City doesn't have to come all the way back and defend. So if you retain possession in that front third, You ask them to come all the way back and defend, and once they win the ball back, they've got so far to go up and score. You can really pin them back.
That's a good point. All good. And Bazanis, yeah, he's carried it over the byline. It's going to be a corner.
It should have been comfortable, this one, for Curtis Good. You can see he's asking Bazanis to come a little bit closer or come around, but it was a poor header. Should be doing better.
Half-time approaching at Amy Park. Glory taking that time. They've been dominant in this regard.
Just the Fornaroli header, really. Haven't seen any of the big boys get on the end of it yet.
Maybe they will on this occasion. Kilkenny aiming towards Alex Grant, back stick. His header favours Susayeta here, and City can spring forward. It's Luna, but the touch too heavy. And Kim Soo-bom lifts it into the afternoon sunshine. Fornaroli, now Brimmer. Oh, chopped down by Brillante. And Tony Popovic again is saying, well, hey, what about the yellow card here? Another conversation with Alex King.
I think Brimmer's had a pretty good first half. He's looked energetic in the midfield. Just getting in front of there of Brillante. Screened the back three from Perth Glory really, really well, and he's looked positive on the ball too.
It's almost dead straight. Fair way out. Kilkenny looking to hang it up perhaps for Murchula at the back post, and he did reach it. So too did Dean Bazanis. Off the head of the central defender. City fans a bit agitated that their team weren't willing to release the ball early and try and catch Perth upfield.
One good sign for City fans, and Jack Henry's absolutely barking instructions out there. You could see he was so upset with Delbridge that he didn't turn out and come back around the other side.
I'll tell you what, Harrison Delbridge as well, Robbie, sorry to interrupt, he just gave Jamie McLaren a big mouthful there, telling him on no uncertain terms that he wanted him to run into the channel to give him an option.
That's a reflection of the last 10 minutes. We've seen City go long on a number of occasions, and when McLaren has run into those spaces, the pass hasn't been of the highest quality, and Perth have got the ball back as they have now.
Yeah, there's another example of it. Here is Delbridge. Berenguer.
And this is where City need to have longer spells in Perth's half and make them come all the way back and defend.
Chianese forgot to take the ball with him when doing the step overs. Berenguer, Noon calling for it. He swapped over to the left flank now for the time being, with Susayeta on the right. Just to mix things up, Jamison into the box. Off the head of Vutric. Susayeta. Berenguer. Steered away for now by Grant. Pinched back on the blind side of Chianese by Berenguer. Bit of territorial dominance for City, but not for long.
I mean, Delbridge has had a very, very good season, but again there, I'm not sure what he's trying to do. He's swinging a ball into Jamie McLaren, who's got 3 6-foot defenders around him. And you're just giving away possession. You can see McLaren's working hard. He's a willing runner. I spoke about it during the pre-game. But he needs service. He needs a pass of quality and allow him an opportunity to be able to hold the ball up and to bring other people into play. Liam Reddy's in no hurry.
Just trying to figure out what we're waiting for here. Is Daniel Elder just in conversation with the officials about something as we move into first half stoppage time? I have to confess I didn't see anything untoward. Tony Popovic making inquiries as well.
I'm not too sure what we're looking at. Well, we're just waiting for Liam Reddy to kick the ball. No one wants to press him.
Well, surely by this stage, if that was the case, the referee would be saying, come on, you've got to get on with it.
This is purely just a case of Liam Reddy waiting for someone to come and press him, and it looks as though everyone's ready for half-time. And then Liam Reddy does that.
A quite baffling little period of play, that. And not exactly what the supporters pay good money to see, quite frankly. And the game had stopped stone dead there. It's almost sort of an assumption that Daniel Elder was, waiting for a signal to get on with things. And he's blown a few seconds early for half-time as well. So, anyway, a rather unsavoury end to what has otherwise been an intriguing first half. City had some good early chances. An error from Kim Soo-bom presented a really good chance for Jamie McLaren, which he spurned. Liam Reddy's made a good save off Adrian Luna. At the other end, a lovely move, ended with a rather tame shot from Diego Castro. And at half-time, we are where we started. It's goalless. Melbourne City 0, Perth Glory 0. Down to Archie.
Thanks, Simon. Here with Josh Berlanti, mate. You had half-time already. Just out on that pitch, a little bit of a break there.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what was going on there. I don't know why it was keeping it that long. But anyway, it's half-time now, and I thought we played really well and created some good chances. We're moving the ball well, side to side, and finding space in behind, so it's great. We just need to step it up another level in the second half.
We're not used to seeing long balls from City. Is that part of the game plan, or is that the way that Perth have set up, not letting you really play the ball?
Yeah, they obviously have a lot of numbers essentials, so they make it tough to play in between the lines. So I think sometimes you've got to play some balls over the top, but it's not just any long ball, it's into a channel with some runners.
Okay, mate, best of luck for the second half. Joel, mate, how'd you see that first half?
Pretty even, actually. We knew they'd come out firing. We had to match it. It was a bit scrappy in terms of football-wise, so it was sort of seeing who can break the other team down and run the other team until they sort of drop off, and it's probably going to only take one chance to win it. Yeah,
and obviously not many created, but you must be pleased with the way your team's set up, didn't really let City play?
Yeah, I mean, that's what Popper builds a team on, structure and being strong defensively, and then waiting for that one chance. It could come in the last minute of the game, it could come in the first minute, so we'll keep fighting. Hopefully it opens up a little bit now. We know we've got a fit squad, so we'll be running until the end, and we'll see what happens.
Okay, best of luck, mate. Cheers.
Standing by.
He knows about it. He's agreed to do it.
Yep.
So.
Hello, bonsoir.
Hey, hey, hey.
Ça va? Ça va bien?
Hey, hey, hey.
Oui.
Simon talking to you in a minute. Talk back to him and make sure that...
Avez-vous écouté moi?
Andy's looking across for and
No, I can't.
Can't hear me? Hello, hello, hello.
Oh, hey, got you, Simon.
You got me?
Yeah, thanks.
Okay.
Yep.
Welcome back to Amy Park. We're all set for the second half. No goals between two of the A-League's top three. That's not to say that the action has been dull by any stretch. It's been a good battle, and we've got Eric Mombert, the Melbourne City coach, who's been good enough to give us some of his time on the sideline. Eric, good to speak to you. Your view on that tactical battle in the first half?
Yes, it's a tactical battle, yes, against a good team. Yeah, for us we have to break their high press better. I hope we can do this in the second half.
Eric, is that are you alluding to the fact that your side played a lot of long balls, especially late in the first half?
Sorry, I didn't understand. Sorry.
Were your side struggling and you had to play a lot of long balls in that first half?
Yes. We have to play sometime direct because they high press with their front three. Yes, it's a good answer, but maybe we can also break in a high indirect play also.
We wish you all the best. Thanks very much, Eric.
Thank you.
Thoughts of Eric Mombert, the Melbourne City coach. City looking for their 100th win in the A-League. And also, their first goal, if they manage to score one tonight, will be their 400th in the competition. And they did have a good few early chances, Robbie, but Perth then perhaps came back into things in that second portion of the first 45 and controlled the play a bit better.
Yeah, I thought City were the side that would have started stronger, and as you mentioned, they had a couple of openings, one very good save from Liam Reddy, but I think Perth started to take control of the game. We hear Bozza again talking before the game about Perth controlling the game without the ball. I think they certainly did that very, very well as the half wore on.
Well, they've got the ball here through Bruno Forteroli, the former City favourite, but he can't pick out Castro, and instead Delbridge launches it over the top of Kim Soo-bom for the run of Markel Susayeta. City looking to threaten here. It's Jamison, and the cross was a teasing one. Perth deal with it for now. Craig Noon has been a little bit quiet tonight, looking for the back post, and Luna on the volley. And now Berenguer to try and tee it up for Brillante, who was shut down quickly by Castro. And Craig Noon attempted to curl as he did against the Newcastle Jets here last week. But again, Glory staying strong. Clipped in aerially by Noon. And now Jamison. City look to build again. Susayeta on the left. No changes made by either coach at the break. Ball bounced up and onto the arm of Florent Berenguer. And that forward momentum stalls for the home side. You would expect, given City's record at least, there will be goals in the second half. Chianese is claiming he was impeded there as he went to try and run onto that through ball by Good. Daniel Elder not interested. City have scored 13 second-half goals this season. That's more than any other team. And at the other end, Robbie, they've conceded 14. So things potentially about to open up after a real good tactical battle in that first half.
As good as City have been this season, they have leaked a few goals. 22 goals in their 14 matches. Under Warren Joyce, they did find a little bit more of that steel. A little bit more defensive resolve without the attacking flair that fans and viewers of the A-League wanted to see. Very, very talented squad. I think we've seen a lot more of that this season. They'd like to just tighten things up a little bit more, I'm sure, at the back.
Chianese exacting a little bit of revenge. What he believed was a foul some moments before. Delbridge is a useful ball for McLaren. The angle is narrow, trying to square it up for first Luna and subsequently Susayeta, but neither could get on the end of it. And now they appeal for hands against James Meredith. They get a throw.
You see Jamie McLaren frustrated there. He thought that was a good ball back towards a penalty spot and disappointed there was no one coming in to arrive on the end of it.
Josh Brillante. Off a Glory player, Diego Castro. It's rather favoured City now with Craig Noon. Ball left foot, of course, playing on the right. Useful ball. Oh, Luna was going for the spectacular. Never quite dropped his way. Back with Jamison. City piling on the pressure here. Alex Grant steers it away for now. Sliding challenge by Berenguer, not once but twice. Meredith got it upfield, and now Forteroli in a tussle with Hendry.
I just thought Hendry hesitated for a moment and maybe Forteroli was going to skip past him. Good start for the second half by Melbourne City.
Delbridge. And McLaren is onside, but can't quite keep the ball within the field of play for City.
He's looked lively this first 5 minutes of the second half. Plenty of runs in behind, and I think the balls, other than maybe that one from Delbridge, have been of a higher quality.
Oh, Hendry took a little bit of a risk where the back header towards Bazanis, but got enough on it. Good touch by Castro. Brimmer shut down by Brillante, but Kim Soo-bom keeps it in play.
Brimmer had to go a bit quicker. Just dwelled a little bit in the middle of the park. Opportunity to break forward. Gone begging.
Alex Grant to launch it, but that's going to be the goalkeepers. Don't forget, a big night for the Olyroos coming up in a few hours' time. They face Uzbekistan in that fourth place playoff at the AFC Under-23 Championships. You'll see it live and exclusive on Fox Sports, 11:30 p.m. Eastern. That's on Fox Sports 506. think we're going to see a rare outing behind the microphone for Mark Bosnich in co-commentary as well.
Well, we can look forward to that. Huge game. Outside of a World Cup and Asian Cup, it's probably the biggest football match in recent history.
Yeah, well, certainly the Ollie Roos biggest game in 12 years. Last qualified for Beijing 2008. Here's Chianese trying to spin clear of both Good and Jamison, who wrestles him to the ground, and that's going to be a caution for the City captain.
Great turn from Chianese and then using his pace.
It's also a costly booking for Scott Jamison. It's his 5th of the campaign, which means he will miss City's next match in Adelaide against the Reds.
Chianese getting the better of Curtis Good and then getting his body across. Good strength. Not turning over possession easily, winning his side a free kick.
So he's gone over rather awkwardly on that ankle as well. Needs a bit of attention from the City physio. Former Perth Glory player, of course. Scott Jamison, one of his handful of former A-League clubs. Whilst he's getting that attention, let's have a look at some of the highlights from a little bit earlier on involving this panel beater. Goodness me.
Well, this was the main game before the game we're watching now, and one of the stars of the show, Simon Hill. Talk us through it, Simon. How are you feeling out there?
Yeah, puffed.
Got to take the field alongside some of your idols, Paul Dickoff.
Yeah, Paul Dickoff. That was the reason I was playing. All for a good
this
cause,
is the
of
pass
course.
here.
Rural aid.
No options?
Yeah. I didn't get many touches of the ball, to be honest.
Was that you waving to your fans at the end?
Yeah, all 2 of them.
Good cause, obviously.
You didn't put in my best through ball there for Archie Thompson anyway. Here's the free kick from Kilkenny. And behind it goes off Jack Hendry.
Yeah, can I come? Hey, Simon?
Yes, Archie?
The reason why you didn't get many balls was because you worked in a radius of 5 metres. So it was pretty hard to find you, mate, when you just were languishing way back in the corner.
That's my style, Archie. Languid.
Okay. Well, it worked beautifully. It worked beautifully.
It was good fun. And all for rural aid, of course, to help our embattled farmers in the bushfires. Here's Kilkenny. Good shake to that corner. And drops for Grant. Oh, and then a collision between Brillante and his opponent, Bruno Fornaroli, and Daniel Elder has pointed to the penalty spot. That collision with Brillante adjudged to have been at fault. There was an earlier collision involving Merchula. He's going to need some attention. Brillante and Fornaroli too.
It's all happening in there. Plenty of collisions initially, I think.
City is saying there might have been a handball in the build-up.
Well, I actually think Bruno Fornaroli is going to be offside. We'll have to see who gets the last touch. I think that comes off Grant's hip last, and in that case, I think Fornaroli is going to be in an offside position.
A lot for the officials to sort out. Was there a handball by Grant?
It's a lot to look at, but I'm quite certain that Fornaroli is going to be in an offside position. This was the initial one. Delbridge coming through to win the header. Merschler, he's on the receiving end as well. And then another coming together before Brillante brings down Fornaroli. Plenty to look at.
Well, Fornaroli's clearly offside here. Is there a handball against Grant? And then does it come last off Berenguer or Alex Grant?
You can see the linesman on the far side. It actually raises the flag. Puts it almost straight up above his head and then decides not to put it up. Whether or not he thinks VAR is going to have a look at this, which it is.
Yeah, Chris Griffiths-Jones in the booth in Sydney, running the rule across all those little key moments.
Well, if it's not handball, for me, it's offside.
There's a couple of things to check there. We've been informed. One, they're looking at the handball, and secondly, the offside. So we'll probably have a slight delay here before that decision is either confirmed or overturned. Let's have another look at it. That's the incident that did for Merchula first up.
Nothing in any of that for me. It's whether or not it strikes Grant's hand.
Well, it does come off Grant last, doesn't it?
For me, it does, yes.
And then, in that case, as you rightly say, Fornaroli's probably got to be offside, hasn't he? So I wonder whether this one's going to be overturned, but we shall see.
I mean, that camera angle we have there, you can't definitively say it comes off his hip because you don't actually see it hit him, but the movement of the ball suggests it does.
Yeah, I think this one is going to be overturned. Yeah, there we go. And Daniel Alden's just going to run through a little explanation there with the captain, Diego Castro, seems quite satisfied. And I guess in that particular instance, you say VAR has done its job, Robbie.
Yeah, certainly. And what's interesting is Melbourne City, I think, lead the league in penalties given away, and almost another one there. Got to be a little bit careful in those positions. Fornaroli was back to goal, and Josh Brillante diving in. Gets away with one. Clearly offside.
Yeah, there was just some doubt as to whether it actually came last off Alex Grant, but I think at least one of those camera angles showed quite definitively that it did. Murchler still off the field of play at the moment. He's going to be back with us shortly. In fact, he's with us now. City just had a bit of a warning. Luna just eased off the ball unfairly by Brimmer. Obviously building into a really tense crescendo, you sense.
Well, it's tense because they're playing for second position. Perth Glory's got the game in hand, just the 2 points behind, but Wellington Phoenix come into the mix as well. Yep. That could be another side fighting it out for second if their form continues.
Winners over the Newcastle Jets yesterday. Hendry's ball chested down by Grant, but stolen by McLaren, who then angles it straight into the path of Neil Kilkenny.
Need to see a bit more from Craig Noon. Goals in his last 2 games, hasn't been involved all that much tonight. Been very quiet. Saw him switch sides late in the first half. Maybe that's something he could do and try to get him into the match.
Grant's header by Kim Subon, Kianese. So many match winners on both sides, but nobody yet able to have a definitive say. Kilkenny, Meredith in an advanced position on the left. Picked out by Kilkenny, but the first touch opened the door for Harrison Delbridge. Kilkenny. First goal, oh so important if one is to arrive at all. This is Murchler back with us. Liam Reddy. The end of the ground where he once saved 2 penalties in a real humdinger of a fixture between these two. Ended in a 3-3 draw a couple of years back. Butrick easing Susayeta off the ball just by sheer force of will, really. Kilkenny, Castro. Kilkenny again. Brimmer. Kim Subon. Murchler. Grant back for Butrick. And we're back where we started with Kilkenny. An hour played in Melbourne. Ready looking to launch it. Good underneath it. Not quite see it out. Inesi back for Castro. Now Fornaroli, little back heel, Castro. That combination again. Not the finish, but a little warning shot across the bows of Melbourne City.
That's the strength of Bruno Fornaroli. You can bang it into his feet, man on his back. He likes the contact. Strong, able to find a little pass. A man of his quality, Castro, you'd hope for him to do a little bit better. You can see how disappointed he is with himself. But in tight spaces, that's a good little opening they created.
Likes this venue, does Diego Castro as well. 8 goals in 13 appearances at Amy Park. City have turned it over rather carelessly. Now they have it back through Susayeta. Luna Turned back, really, when the other way, and Berenguer was the better option. Jamison, Susaeta, clever run by Luna. Let's get clear of Brimmer. Susaeta again, lovely return. Luna, City could be in here. Alex Grant's got it stuck between his feet. It's top of the box with Brillante. Susaeta, no options further ahead, has to turn back. And Hendry. City's turn to have a spell, perhaps. Delbridge. Touch by Good for Hendry. Good. Got the head up. Trying to hit Craig Noom, but overcooked it by quite some distance. The Englishman has had a relatively quiet game tonight. After those back-to-back goals against Brisbane and the Jets. Kim Subom run out of it by Susaeta. Still scrapping away for it. He's come away with it, a career. With perseverance. And turned into traffic in the shape of Luna. Berenguer. Noon. Steered back calmly by Tomislav Merchela.
He's on top of his game at the moment, Merchela. You can see he's playing with plenty of confidence. His positioning's been spot on so far. Been able to win most of the aerial balls, which you'd expect. Good in possession. He's been organising things too.
Got that one Socceroos call-up 5 years ago now for the World Cup qualifier against Kyrgyzstan. Didn't play. Very experienced due to his years overseas. Oh, James Meredith got that horribly wrong, just misjudged it totally. Talk about being beaten by the bounce, Robbie.
Deceived by the slower ball almost.
Yeah. Risky by City, but they're calm enough to play out from the back, or are they? Zanis goes long. Now the meat and the sandwich there, but City come away with it. Susaeta now with Jamison. Craig Noon screaming for it wide right. They find the space instead for Luna. Little clip into the box, and McLaren. Well, that was one of City's better opportunities, certainly in this second half. Berenguer reaching for it. McLaren's header well wide in the end.
It's a great little run again from Luna into the penalty area. You can see Jamie McLaren just peels off the shoulder of Grant. Meredith did well to come in and put him under a bit of pressure. I think his heading's improved a lot, Jamie McLaren. Again, did the right thing back across the keeper. Wasn't able to put it on the inside of that far post.
Here's Delbridge. Golden Boot race hotting up towards the end of the season. Fonda remaining one clear of McLaren. Here's Josh Brillante. He does score the occasional goal from outside the box and does pack a powerful punch with that right foot.
He's got a good strike on him. He was up in Brisbane where he was playing for Sydney FC. He scored a wonderful goal. Just doesn't quite get his first touch out of his feet. Has to take another one in that time. Kilkenny closes him down. Not able to move onto the ball maybe the way he would have liked. Gets up and over it. Underneath it, sorry.
Don't forget to tune in and follow the Ollie Roos tonight. Fox Sports 6, 11:30 p.m. See if the Ollie Roos can claim that third and final ticket to the Tokyo Olympics in July. They play Uzbekistan, who were the defending champions in that AFC Under-23 Championships. They lost out to the Saudis in the semis, and of course Australia pretty comfortably beaten by South Korea. They have that second chance. Let's see if they can do it later on tonight. I wish them and Graham Arnold all the very best. Keel by Luna, but just didn't look. Here's Bruno Fornaroli. Still Fornaroli. Good save, Bazanis. Had to get down smartly down to his left. Fornaroli threatening against his old club.
It's almost reminiscent of last week when Western Sydney Wanderers turned the ball over in their back third. Fornaroli driving towards goal. Got a good strike away. Expect Dean Bazanis to be able to save that. It was Luna who went for the little flick in the middle of the park. Very risky, and Kilkenny was there to pounce. You just sense Fornaroli. He'd love to score here again.
48 goals in City Blue. And 8 so far in the purple of Perth. Here's Kilkenny's subsequent corner towards the near post. Oh, came off the uprights. Was it Chianese who got that effort on goal? City grateful to the woodwork. They try and keep possession for a little while, City, as they look to clear their heads. Perth with 2 good sights of Dean Bazanis' goal. Jamison slips it down the line for Luna. Finds the space for the cross, but only the 3 big men there. It's not particularly well headed away by Murchela. Here's Jamie McLaren on the turn, and it loops up off Vutric and into the arms of Reddy.
Yeah, not the best of headers there from Murchela.
Here's that chance at the other end.
You got to look for height and distance. Yeah. He only got the height, unfortunately. Jamie McLaren did well to turn and get a strike away. Well blocked.
Here's the chance at the other end. My apologies.
I'm not sure who
came off a City defender.
Yeah, I'm not sure
that was Curtis Good.
Yeah, hit him almost on the hip, I think. And rocketed into the upright.
Noon. It's the benefits of the ricochet. Collected by Meredith. Free kick. Good situation this for Melbourne City.
First time we've seen him really pick the ball up and be able to run at players and cause some problems, and you can see the quality that he has when he does. Meredith is tracking back. Felt like he had to get a foot in. This is a really, really dangerous position now.
Not only was the foul, but I think he caught the face of Noon with the trailing leg. Accidentally, it must be said. James Meredith. Maybe this is the moment for City. They've just survived a real scare at the other end. It's been Perth with most of the momentum in this second half. Still a stalemate. Is that about to be broken? Adrian Luna with the opportunity here. Defensive wall of 4. It is Adrian Luna. Not quite.
It wasn't too far away. Liam Reddy didn't look too threatened. Taking the option to go the side of the goalkeeper, maybe trying to catch him out. A couple of metres too high. In the end, an opportunity gone begging.
Useful player is Adrian Luna, and as we mentioned in the first half, started to grow in confidence here in the A-League. Did win 14 caps and scored 7 goals for the Uruguay under-20 national team. Sort of underlines his calibre. Nathaniel Atkinson is going to be with us next break in play. Meantime, he and everybody else is watching former City favourite Bruno Fornaroli. Square by Kilkenny under heavy pressure from Berenguer. Kim Soo-Bom on the right for Glory. Oh, too casual. He's grateful to Jake Brimmer to get him out of a hole. Tony Popovic has just flung his arms up in the air as if to say, what are you doing, Kim? I don't know whether this has any correlation to that error, but Ivan Franic is already stripped and ready as Glory's first change. Alex Grant, careless. Heavy touch, though, by Curtis. Good, and now he's out of position, and it's Fornaroli. Headed off by Brillante for now. Chianese, Kim Soo-bom. Meredith was furthest forward. It drops here for Castro. On the turn, and the deflection had all the sting taken out of the shot by the Spaniard.
Yeah, Kim with the ball across. Meredith was flying in behind. In the end, it was a good touch from Hendry. Good first touch as well from Diego Castro. You expect that. Ball closed down by Delbridge. Just waiting for that one real clean-cut moment. All sort of half chances under pressure at both ends. Both defences are scrambling well.
Here's that change. Markel Susayeta, perhaps understandably, running out of a bit of petrol. Got through 72 minutes, though. And already you fancy developing into a bit of a cult hero here for the Melbourne City supporters, and Nathaniel Atkinson is going to replace him. Let's go down to Archie Thompson for his view on how these changes might change the pattern of the game. Archie?
You alluded to the tactical battle. The substitutions, obviously Susuta hasn't played much game time, so he's obviously going to come off. But two similar players, Franich very similar to Nathaniel Atkinson, so a real battle, more of the coaches than the actual players.
Thanks, Archie.
Interesting, Ivan Franich has come on in this left wing-back position in place of Meredith. Kim keeps his spot out there.
Has played there before, Ivan Franjic, but you're right, that Kim Soo-bom could shape as the natural player to be withdrawn.
You could see Tony Popovic yelling across to Kim and basically telling him Craig Noon's left foot, he likes to dribble and to be careful, so he's been warned.
Franjic will have to keep tabs on Nathaniel Atkinson down that right-hand side. Off the head of Luna, meantime. Chianese shielding the ball away from Jamison. Kilkenny. Intervention by Luna. Throwing glory. And of course, the big winners from tonight, if it ends like this, not Eric Momber's team, not Tony Popovic necessarily. Steve Corica will probably be wearing the broadest grin because his team would be 10 points clear. They're 11 at the moment.
Yeah, it's a pretty handy gap, isn't it? We mentioned the Champions League coming up. For them to be able to go in with such a comfortable lead in a few weeks' time, I'm sure that will really help them sort of focus on the Champions League a little bit more, maybe be able to rest a few players here or there. But also Wellington Phoenix, as I mentioned, they come right into the mix should this end in a point apiece.
This is Noon. Western United can perhaps put themselves in that equation as well if they can defeat Adelaide tomorrow. Game being played at Whitten Oval. Footscray. Here's Craig Noon, charged down by Kilkenny. We're into the final quarter of an hour. Driven across with pace. Fended off by Grant. Jamie McLaren. Tangle with Woodrick, half appeals for handball in towards Atkinson, and now here's Craig Noon going for the near post. And there were one or two heavy collisions in that little passage of play. City have to settle for a corner, Robbie.
Super ball in from Scott Jamison on that left-hand side. The substitute Atkinson was attacking it, and in the end, good piece of defending from Grant.
Oh, tap short by Noon for Atkinson. Noon again. Tempting cross. Punched away. Good distance as well by Liam Reddy. He made one very, very good save in the first half. Now it's Castro penalised, and he wants to argue the toss with Daniel Elder. Won't change the decision. Atkinson. Clearance by Merchela. Volante. A little spellless for City. Curtis good, and then Hendry to try and get on the end of things. Jamison. Game that's really ebbed and flowed. Atkinson at the back post, challenged by Franich. And went straight into the midriff and clearly caught a bit of the arm of Nathaniel Atkinson, who is penalised for handball.
Wasn't the best of clearances from Grant, got a bit lucky. This is what Perth Glory have been able to do in recent weeks when they're under pressure. They've given the opposition absolutely nothing. They get a lot of numbers, as I said, in around that 6-yard box, make it very difficult for an opposition player to get a clear header or a clear strike away. And I know Tony Popovich has been pleased over these 6 weeks that they've won games different ways. Some games have dominated possession, other they've, you know, against the Wanderers, they capitalise on a mistake. They've been able to find a way to win, not always the same manner.
It's now nearly 6 hours and 30 minutes since Perth conceded an A-League goal. This is Luna, long way out. Oh. The replay will show us just how close that was. Liam Reddy just stood and watched. There's a few oohs from the City fans behind that goal. Let's see whether Reddy had a right to be worried or not.
It's a long way out. Wasn't closed down. Comfortably wide.
City fans behind that goal, trying to lift their team, and Perth have turned the ball over. Atkinson. Too far beyond the reach of McLaren. He's had a positive impact off the bench already.
He's a lively customer. He's got pace and energy.
Jamie McLaren's just saying, just give me one more chance. He had one good one in the first half that he couldn't take. Just give me an opportunity.
City really getting on the front foot now. You can see Mombert asking his team to really push on. Don't allow Perth Glory to play short, and Castro's coming all the way back, almost to the 6-yard box of the Perth Glory defence, to have a word with his defence.
And again, they're in no particular hurry, Perth, to take this goal kick. Liam Reddy just sort of sauntered back into his penalty area. From a dead ball, of course, the referee can give them the hurry up. I wonder whether Alex Grant has got a bit of an injury problem, because Dane Ingham has been summoned.
Be surprised maybe that's for Kim, across to the far side.
That would be the more natural replacement again. Not that we're trying to death ride Kim Subom, but it's Kianese. Go figure.
I think Kianese has been quite good tonight. Whenever he's been involved, he's kept the ball well for his side. He's always looked to cause problems and run in behind. He's a player in form.
Yeah, well, no goal for him tonight. 3 in his last 4. One disallowed against the Wanderers. And as mentioned in pre-game, he likes playing at Amy Park. 5 goals in 14 matches prior to tonight for Joel Kianese. It's his favourite away ground. But nothing for him this evening. And Dane Ingham is with us, the New Zealand international who joined from Brisbane Roar during the off-season. It's his first appearance in the A-League in almost 12 months. Last featured February 2019. And that infamous 5-3 win for Brisbane over the Mariners in Gosford. It's well defended by Kim. Into the final 10. Who wins it from here, Robbie? Both teams have had their little periods.
Yeah, it's anyone's game. It's finally balanced. I think Melbourne City are probably just slightly the better side. A little bit more possession in the front third in this last 5 minutes or so.
Oh, Luna was just a bit too smart there for his opponent, Jake Brimmer.
And a few instances like this. They've been getting a few free kicks in around the box now. He's had a good night, Luna. Keeps his ball in, little step over. I'm not sure how much contact there was.
Clearly enough for Daniel Elder. Another good situation. Chance to throw Delbridge good and Hendry forward. They're all lurking around the penalty spot. All about the quality of the delivery. City fans behind Craig Noon, hoping their team can make the breakthrough, retain second spot. Berenguer's delivery and Delbridge wants the corner, but it's not going to get that. A guy of his physical presence wins so much in the air. I fancy he might score 1 or 2 more A-League goals, Robbie. And I'm sure the same accusation was levelled at you during the day.
Yeah, it's not always about how big you are, is it? Timmy Cahill has proven that. It's all about timing, isn't it? And if you've got a stationary jump, it's very, very difficult. You need to be sort of moving onto the ball, sort of coming through it rather than just jumping straight up in the air. But you're right, something he can certainly add to his game.
Was he correct in believing that the final touch came off a Perth defender? Should have been a corner.
Might have had a case.
One thing that we perhaps didn't predict tonight with these two attack-minded teams, who've got so many weapons in attack. There's a goalless outcome. We've still got 7 minutes plus stoppage time to avoid that. The trick marshalling Luna. And effectively. The two of them collapse in a heap. Luna's got an arm across the face. Vutric saying he got a kick first up. Let's have a look.
It's always difficult for a defender when the player's backing in like that. There's definitely contact to the face, incidental for me.
Back with Luna in towards McLaren. And it will be a corner. City can continue their strong finish to the game.
Such a dangerous ball, that in-swinger, when all the attacking players are running through on goal. Difficult to defend.
Again, the set-piece work short. Noon deceived Castro. Tees up Atkinson. He gets around his opponent. It's going to be hit here by Scott Jamieson. Cleaner contact this time with the left peg, but still not accurate enough.
Always a little smile after he has a strike and goal. It was perfect, to be honest. Fell to him nicely. Hit it well enough. Never looked on target.
Meagre return of goals, but let's be fair, it's not really his go as a left full-back. Although Roberto Carlos scored a few, 1 or 2 others.
Carlos was playing for Brazil and Jamison's playing for Melbourne City.
Good point, well made. Also took a mean free kick, didn't he? So into the last 5 minutes, we've only had 3 scoreless draws all season in the A-League. Pretty close to a 4th. Defending off McLaren, good strong play. Kilkenny, Kim Subong. Now Dane Ingham. Started this A-League life as a right fullback, but he can play in that more advanced position. Brother Jai, of course, with Brisbane Roar now, ensuring that the Ingham name continues in Queensland. Vutric, Kilkenny. Vutric, useful looking cross, Delbridge underneath it. And a fall for Franic, Castro. Looking to tease his way past Atkinson. Experience wins out over youth. Dangerous ball. Heading clear by Brillante. And Atkinson can't keep it in play. Kranic. Castro again. Brimmer. Perth's turn to have a little spell, but Brimmer's cross is way too deep.
I've almost taken in turns tonight to have little spells in the opposition half. Perth Glory were pinned back for 5 or 10 minutes, and now they're getting their little opportunity. They set up their high press and try to make the Imbuzanas go long.
Glory are going to make their third and final change. Next break in play. It's going to be one of the Popovich sons. There's 2 on the bench, G-Pop and K-Pop. And it's going to be Christian Popovich will be with us, but maybe a chance before that for City. Ready out smartly. You'd have been used to K-Pop your time in Korea, Robbie?
Yeah, I did hear a bit of that in the change room before a game. Wasn't too sure what they were saying, but a couple of catchy tunes.
Kim Subom. This is good. Got to put in ahead of Ingham. Put City back on the attack. Luna. Touch short for Jamison. Won back by the Uruguayan only briefly. Jamison snapping around the heels of Kilkenny, but Perth work it out through Fornaroli for Castro on the left. It's the right idea to try and release Ingham, but Curtis Good did really well. Now, Adrian Luna's got a problem. He's just signalled to the City bench, you need to make a change. I need to come off. Scott Galloway was stripped and ready. Then maybe they'll have to rethink that.
They haven't got long to make a decision. Maybe Perth Glory have to rethink their change as well. Kim's down.
Players dropping like flies. Yeah, Kim's just signalled that he's done. And Hayden Fox has just said to Tony Popovich, just hold your horses on that. Meantime, City are going to go ahead with that change and bring off Florent Berenguer for Scott Galloway. Here comes Rostin Griffiths as well. So double change for City. Berenguer had that early chance that he took on the half volley. Still awaiting his first goal in City Blue. Rostin Griffiths enters the fray against one of his former clubs. And Scott Galloway makes a welcome return because you might remember a couple of weeks ago he went down very heavily on his ankle in the game in Brisbane. They thought he might be out for some time, but the scans have shown nothing untoward. Good to see him back. Meantime, Kim Subom is withdrawn, and Jacob Tratt is with us as Perth's third and final change. That takes us into stoppage time. All those changes, of which there's going to be 5 minutes.
Just wonder if there's one real moment of quality left in this game, whether someone can unlock one of the defences. Jamie McLaren's worked hard all night. Fornaroli's been busy. Castro's been clever. No one's been able to produce that moment of magic.
Not the end of the football tonight on Fox, of course. Australia, Uzbekistan to come, 11:30 p.m. Eastern. Fox Sports 5:06. Tune in to see if the Olyroos can claim a spot at the Tokyo Olympics. The first time they will have qualified for the Games, if they can get over the line, in 12 years. Huge game for the under-23s. Next month, of course, it's the turn of the Matildas. Despite all the health scares at the moment in China, Looks as though that tournament's going ahead. Meantime, a frustrating night for those in City Blue at Amy Park. Their team has had its moments, so too have Perth. And perhaps because of that, Robbie, if it does end 0-0, I'd probably say it's a fair outcome, the point of peace.
No, I think you're right. It has been a good battle, but as you say, fairly even. Both sides have had their moments. I think both sides, to their credit, have defended really, really well. Jack Hendry, has come in and been really solid. Looks as though we'll add some steel to that defence. Perth Glory continuing on their very, very good run of keeping clean sheets.
Yeah, this will be their 6th in 7 games. Put in by Griffiths, but it didn't go where he wanted it to. Ingham loses out. Jamison thumps it forwards. Trying to find Atkinson, who's a touch unfortunate there, just bounced off the bonds. Castro trying to spin away from Delbridge. He wrestles him to the ground. Bit of a physical mismatch, that contest. So tight has this game been that even the magic of Diego Castro hasn't been quite enough for the Glory. He's been involved, of course, in the good attacking stuff. He normally is. Is there some late drama to be had here? Ingham gets the decision in terms of the throw. He wants the free kick. And I think he's got it. Jamison, the guilty party. A late opportunity then for Glory. Again, the 3 tall central defenders. You can throw in Jacob Trapp as a 4th there, looking to get on the end of this one from Kilkenny. Near post was Ingham, and there is Tratt. A lot of traffic. Bazanis gets a good fist on the ball, though. And the danger is averted for City. Scott Jamison. Big smile on his face. This result, no doubt, will be frustrating for Eric Montbert, as coach of the home side. Did survive that penalty award by Daniel Elder in the second half. They haven't been able to create much at the other end, the home side. Just really that header from Jamie McLaren that went wide of the upright. And there we go. It ends all square. Glory's winning run is halted, but Eric Mombert's Melbourne City still cannot stare down one of their big rivals for silverware. A game in which both teams had their periods of domination. Jamie McLaren had a good early chance, and then just one in the second half. Perth had their moments. And of course, in the second half, that big talking point when Daniel Elder did point to the spot, but Bruno Fornaroli ultimately ruled offside. So we end where we started, in stalemate, goalless. Melbourne City 0, Perth Glory 0. Let's join Archie for some reaction.
Here with Scotty Jamison. You just had a word to Liam Reddy there, mate. What was that about?
I don't know. He obviously has been practicing juggling and looks like a fool, but he's my mate, so I can say that about him.
It's a game that obviously ebbed and flowed. Perth had their opportunities, you had your opportunities. Fair result in the end?
Maybe fair result. I don't know how it ebbed and flowed too much. I thought we were the team that were looking to win the game. I think by Rocket in the last 2 minutes kind of showed where they were. They were coming in for a point. We had enough chances, I think, to win the game. Disappointing, but a clean sheet, a positive clean sheet after a disappointing result against them last time.
Well, it's against Perth side that's sitting third. There's also talk about, I suppose, your attitude leading into games and stuff like that. Has that